By and large, what we want to do is to offer maybe a couple of references, and then we can let the recruiter or the HR person choose who they want to check in with. So maybe offer one or two former former supervisors or bosses, and if possible, also offer them to be a little bit more of the diverse kind.
Okay.
Diverse meaning like different industries or different in terms of the job length as well.
Okay.
Yeah, so maybe one is more recent and one is a bit further longer time.
Our listener Yusuf wrote in. He says that some companies are now looking for character references that are not family members or former supervisors. They're looking for either a colleague or a friend. It looks like they want to know more about your personal character rather than your professional character. Yusuf is asking, is this a common thing? And if so, who is the best person you should recommend? Honestly, this is the first time I'm hearing this because oftentimes when recruiters call me up as a reference, they are asking me about the applicant's professional conduct and work-related ethics. So what is going on here in Yusuf's case?
We see so many questions on this Ask Me Anything segment, right? I think this is the question that got me like, huh?
Oh,
Like,
right.
I've also not heard of.
You have also not heard of it.
Yes. So I think what Yusuf might be going through is very rare.
Okay.
It's very rare because, like what you mentioned, most of the time reference checks are often of people who worked with you professionally before. Your ex-boss from a previous company, so they can validate and also check on your performance, right? But for family, for as a friend and just a colleague, a peer colleague, I really think it's very rare. I went to
And it
check.
might be biased as well, right? Because you're my friend.
Yeah, correct. So I'm struggling to see why would they want to do this unless it's just another supplementary layer. That means they wanted a professional check and a personal check, maybe.
Okay.
But I checked with a few of my friends as well, those in the recruitment, they said
no, it doesn't
never
really quite happen.
It doesn't quite happen as well.
Okay. More often than not, is it true that you should be asking your supervisor to be your reference? Because it can get quite awkward to ask your current supervisor to be your reference, right? It means your current supervisor knows that you are a flight risk.
Yeah. So if you're still in a job and you're looking for a new role and you're asked to give a professional character reference, don't give your current boss. They your current boss will know that you're job searching. So give a previous boss, right? Give a former boss from a previous company. I think that would be the best way to go.
How far back though? Like if I have already been in this company for let's say 7 years, that means my previous boss only knew me 7 years ago professionally, right? Working professionally for them. How far back would you say we can tap into that boss?
By and large, what we want to do is to offer maybe a couple of references, and then we can let the recruiter or the HR person choose who they want to check in with. So maybe offer one or two former supervisors or bosses, and if possible, also offer them to be a little bit more of the diverse kind.
Okay.
Diverse meaning like different industries or different in terms of the job length as well.
Okay.
Yeah. So maybe one is more recent and one is a bit further longer time. Yeah. Usually I would say go for those that you have worked for them for some time, like maybe you work for them good 5 years. Then that kind of reference might be more strong, right? Because you've had a solid 5 years as compared to you work somewhere for 6 months and then you give that boss as a character reference.
What if I don't have that kind of boss? Meaning, let's say, for example, I have been in a job for a very, very long time, 10, 15 years. It's my first job, fresh out of school, and then I want to career switch. So that is going to be my second company. Then who can I tap on if it's not my supervisor?
If this is your first job to change and you don't have that previous person, you could ask a industry colleague, a friend, right? But someone who's in from the industry is also possible to give that reference. I think especially if you are just starting out as a fresh grad, people can understand that you don't really have a lot of track record to give. I've also seen before students giving lecturers, their professors
Oh,
or the
yes.
lecturers as a reference for their work. I've seen that before, but this is only for those who are just starting out.
The other thing also I know we can do is, like I said, if you are in a situation where you have worked in a company for about 10 to 15 years and you don't want to tap on that supervisor, sometimes some of your peers within these 10 to 15 years, they have, like you say, gone out to other companies, are working still within the industry, but in different companies. They could also be your peer reference, right? Because they may be in a position where what they say will also lend weight to your application process.
Definitely, definitely. So they may not need to be in your previous company. They may have moved on, but just knowing that they are able to validate for you your work experiences. This is pretty important. So one quick tip as well is to remind your referees, the people whom you are surfacing up to the HR recruiters, right? Please call them and let them know that you are giving their names
Yes.
up to the HR. Because
Yes.
in this day and age, normally when someone calls you, you think it's a scam,
Yes.
right?
Or not only that, I think it's just basic courtesy, right? Because I actually heard of people saying that they received a phone call from a recruiter saying that their name was put down as a reference and they were not told about it. So they were caught off guard. And yeah, even though they felt like they really wanted to say something nice about the applicant, it just didn't feel like, I mean, in that moment, they were not happy and they just felt like, why am I doing you a favor if you don't have the basic courtesy to tell me that you have put my name down as a reference?
Yes. So the moment that you want to surface a name to the recruiter, it's best that you let that colleague, ex-boss know that, hey, I'm looking for a new job. I'm in the midst of a transition. Can I put your name as my character referee? And they would be contacting you for a check. They may be doing so in a couple of weeks' time. And maybe you want to make an ask to say, could you maybe say something good about the way I worked with you before, my achievements in terms of certain projects that we did on that is important to the next employer.
My own personal question here. What if someone approaches me to be a character reference and I don't want to be
Oh, wow.
a reference to them? How should I talk about it?
I think you can just decline politely and you can just say that, I don't think I'm able to validate the experiences that you have for this job that you are applying for. So if the roles were, if this happened to me, I will ask for the job description first.
Yes, it's
I'll
true.
take a look at it. I'll see whether is it something that I'm able to vouch for you on. And if not, I'm just saying, I don't think I can because it seems to be a very different role. I don't have the experience with you. I don't know you that well. I may not be able to represent you or to vouch for you in a way that can help you score the job. So you're taking yourself out of the running.
Yes.
Don't sabo that person.
Yes, I think that would be a good point to remember that not helping that person doesn't mean that you don't like that person.
Yes.
Not helping that person could also mean that you do not want to sabotage their chances.
Yes, that's right.
If, like Yusof, you have a work-related question, do send it to us. We are at cnapodcasts@mediacorp.com.sg. We're also on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and YouTube, where a video version of this is at.
I'm Gerald.
And I'm Tiffany. Have a smooth work week ahead.